Hello techies, welcome to my 100 days coding challenge, and today is day 3. Today I'm talking about values and variables. So in this challenge we're knowing what is values and what is variables. Let's go to our VS Code. I'll just type this here: values and variables. The first thing I'm talking about is value. So let's say value. Now, what is value? A value is a data, and it is the most fundamental unit we have in programming. It's also the smallest unit of information that we have in JavaScript. So let's say, for example, I'll declare a variable that will be storing a value. Let's say first name. We'll talk about variables very soon. I'll say first name equal to, I'm storing a string type of data. I'll give it Daniel. I'm using name to explain this. So I'll console.log Daniel. When you want to see your value in your console, you have to console.log the variable. So I'll just say first name. I'll go to my server. Okay, and close this. I inspect. I go to my console. And you see that I have Daniel. See, I have Daniel. This is a string. So in other words, your value can be any literals. It can be a boolean. It can be an integer. It can be undefined, a null, a number, any type of data. Let's try another string. I will say true. Mind you, this is not a boolean type of data because there is a quotation, so it's a string. We can go ahead and try other things. In number, we can try other type of data. So this is just to tell you that a value is a piece of data, whether it's undefined, whether it is a null, whether it is a boolean, whatever it is that is a data, that is a value too. So it's a piece of data. Now I'm going to add a type of mathematical operator to join these values together to form a single value. This will give us 14. You see it right there. So whether it is a number, whether it is a string, boolean, whatever type of data, as long as you are assigning something to a variable, then it is a value. The assignment operator is the equal to that you see there before the value. One of the useful things that we can do with values is to store them in variables so that we can reuse them over and over again just by calling out the variable. When I remove this, you see that it will give me undefined. Undefined is a primitive data. Say this. It's giving me undefined because I did not assign any variable to it. Any value to it. Now let's talk about variables. Variable is a very tiny bit of storage units that we can use to store data. Whenever we write our codes, we must store our code somewhere. We must store our JavaScript somewhere. It's like having a number. Whenever you want to fetch that number, you have to go to your phone book where you have stored it to use it again. For example, I'm going to declare a variable second name. To declare a variable, you have to use the let const of var. We're going to talk about that now in this class. So I'll just say second name. Second name is a variable. Then I'll add a value to it. Okay, let me give this. I'm so terrible when it comes to names. Let me just give this something very simpler, but just know that it's a value. So I'll say name. I'll come and console.log second name. If you watched the video where I talked about identifiers, you know how I came up with my variable name. I used the camel casing. You can see my variable is second name, and the two words are not separated, they are together, and in uppercase, name is in uppercase. So here you see the value is being displayed name. If I duplicate this console as many times I want. It will still give me the same value. So this is like calling the variable anywhere, anytime, and you still get the value that it is storing. So now I'm going to give an example. If you are familiar with this phrase where they ask you x plus y is equals to 7, find x or find y. But in JavaScript, it is not done like that. Let me write it here. X plus y equal to 7. This is what we normally say. But in JavaScript, we can just simply say x equals to 7, y equals to 7. Then when we console.log, okay, let's go to our console. Console.log. Oh, this is a mistake. Console.log parentheses. Then we just say x plus y. When we say x plus y, it will give us 14. Because that's what's supposed to give. X plus y is 14. So let's go to our console. You see it there, we have 14. Now, x and y are variables storing 7. X is assigned to 7, y is assigned to 7. So x is a variable, y is a variable. The only difference is that we have not declared it using the let var, which we are going to see in the next class. So I hope with this you're able to understand what variable means and what values means. And this is it for day 3. See you on day 4.